Last week I attended Summer Game Fest in LA and had a fantastic time overall, seeing some good games shown. But the next day I attended the Play Days, which allowed me to go behind the scenes a little and check out a few upcoming games and hear the ones that impressed me the most. Mouse PI for Hire is one that I've been looking forward to for quite some time now. A first-person shooter with this rubber hose art style, and now the lead character is voiced by Troy Baker? Sign me up, please. Now, this was about a 25 to 30 minute hands-off session, unfortunately, but it pretty much was one-on-one time with one of the developers, which was really enjoyable. First of all, the story actually seems really interesting so far. I'm not sure why, it was just something I didn't really expect as much, especially with these detective elements. Troy Baker is obviously doing great work. All of the other characters had great voice acting as well, really funny, witty, just smart dialogue. The overall gameplay is the star of the show, though. I got to look at several different weapons like the regular pistol, Tommy gun, shotgun. This one specifically, I do not remember the name of it, but which it literally melted the flesh off of them. I did ask the devs if there would be more like unique weapons like this or if this was the only one, and they did confirm that there would absolutely be the case and be more of these, which I thought was great. You also get different abilities like a double jump throughout the game as well. The world is pretty interactive as well, which is really cool, and the animations are just awesome. Everything is hand-drawn, which just makes it look and hold up so well. Had a very similar like Cuphead vibe to it, again, just in the overall presentation. It also seemed to run really great. And just like an actual detective, you will go back to this hub area with all your clues after each level to kind of figure out these mysteries. Now, we did not get to look at this, but the devs did confirm this will take place after every single mission. I was already really looking forward to this game, and now I am even more excited to get my hands on this. Blighted is one that I was really excited about once it was announced. If you do not know, this recently just got shown off at Summer Game Fest, which is being developed by Drinkbox Games, which is the same devs of Guacamelee, Nobody Saves the World, two games of which I absolutely adore. While those are lighthearted and a little goofy, this looked to be a much darker, grittier, and actually a Souls-inspired game. I loved the art style, and this just had my name written all over it. I actually really struggled getting an appointment there, and there was a cancellation. I was able to jump right in, and I actually got the chance to play 2 players with one of the team members as well. And yeah, this one ripped. It was absolutely one of my favorite things I played at Summer Game Fest. The art style was incredible right off the bat, with a lot of varied locations and enemy designs. You have your light attacks, which will combo, your dodge and roll mechanics. You got that classic stamina bar, pretty decent skill tree as well. All of the makings of a Souls-like were here. But what's interesting is this Blighted mechanic, which they did say is still actively being kind of worked on and developed, but essentially the more enemies you kill, the more difficult the game actually gets as your blight increases. But this also means that sometimes you will find hidden things or not, depending on your level of blight. Again, it's a decently early build, but I thought the premise was very interesting. We also fought, I believe, 1 to 2 bosses in the demo. They were both super unique, really enjoyable. This one I am highly anticipating the full release for, and if you have not played any of their other games, I highly encourage you to do so. Omat is another wild one for sure. I didn't even have a clue this was here at Summer Game Fest, but I was told by a friend he thought I would enjoy it, so I ran right over. This is essentially an extremely difficult boss rush type video game with gorgeous pixel art style. And yeah, this one's hard. Hard. It took me 150 tries before I ever even defeated the first boss. In this specific scenario, the boss could not touch the ground or I would die. And if I took any damage at all, I would die and it would restart. So the boss had 3 phases and had to essentially be defeated perfectly. This got really intense in the last phase, and this one made me super frustrated. Unfortunately though, my game did bug out as I actually beat the boss twice and it never let me progress, so I never got to even see the next few bosses before my time was up. But there is a public demo on Steam right now that I've gotten the chance to play more of, and I highly encourage you to check it out if you like these types of games. I'm gonna be 100% honest here. I was a little hesitant even to go to this appointment, and I almost didn't make it in general. I had a couple of other things scheduled, and this was kind of at like the bottom of my list, but I just kind of decided to fit it into the schedule. And this one is probably the biggest surprise so far, because dear Lord, this one was awesome. So Escape Academy 2 is of course a sequel to the original. I have not played this before. This is a 2-player game where you are stuck doing escape rooms with kind of a little twist on some of them. The game opens up and you are stuck in a room and you have 15 minutes in real time before these spikes on the ceiling collapse and kill you both. What a way to start a demo. If you've ever played games like It Takes Two, Operation Tango, or even like the We Were Here series, you're going to feel right at home here, and this is definitely the game for you. Tons of great puzzles off the bat, those classic like aha moments once you figure out a difficult puzzle. Working together is key, and this portion was a blast, even with somebody I did not even know. My second player, total stranger. Then you exit and the game is almost like this open world. You're in like one giant school and the entire school actually acts as an escape room, having to figure out puzzles to go from one room to the next, doing different side content for other classmates. I just love a good game that makes me really use my brain with great puzzles. I played this again with a complete stranger and it was so much fun, and I was still able to complete mostly everything. If you've been looking for a good couch co-op game to play, I could not recommend this one more and highly encourage you to check out the first one as well. Easily the biggest surprise for me this year. Pedal Runner is another incredibly unique video game also published by I Am 8-Bit. Unfortunately, I made the mistake of going over my time on Escape Academy. They were really wanting me to finish that, so I was late to this appointment even though they were literally side by side. But this game was developed by just 2 people. But I got to sit down and chat with them while I was playing their game, and in the brief time I played, I really liked what they were cooking up. This is a retro-style pixel art RPG that wears its inspirations on their sleeve, but definitely still leaves room to innovate. Games like Pokemon and Undertale, huge highlights, especially in the combat system. You have to deliver these creatures to people, but in doing so, you actually get into these combat encounters, but they're very like non-traditional. Again, super akin to like Undertale, and I really enjoyed it. The dialogue was really witty as well. I genuinely wish I was able to get just a little bit more time on this one because I liked a lot about it. But definitely make sure you keep an eye on Pedal Runner if you enjoy these types of games. A little less indie here, but I did want to at least cover it because this one was also another pleasant surprise. Now, for most of these, I did have some B-roll provided by the team. They did not send me any footage of this, so I'm just going basically used off the trailers. But man, this game ripped so hard. Now, I'm somebody who enjoys VR games, so this was just a pleasant time for me. I know not everybody is like super accustomed to VR. I've got the MetaQuest, I've got the PSVR 2. I enjoy a good VR game from time to time. But this game is super Deadpool. I mean, I literally started out just as a head, and I actually had to walk my decapitated body over and reattach it. The gameplay is super arcadey. You don't actually have to like manually reload or even pick up your weapons after they've fallen. I love those kind of mechanics in like a survival game, but it was just not the right call here, so I'm very glad they stuck with that. It's super fast-paced, switching weapons on the fly, tossing grenades, swords, grappling from one end to the other. I was not ready to get off this one. Neil Patrick Harris was also embodying Deadpool. I thought it was done really well. Loved the comic book art style. Really looking forward to this full game's launch, and I think a lot of others are going to be very surprised by this. Now, I've kept my eye on Wu Chang for quite some time now, and after playing an entire hour, I'm genuinely looking forward to more. I got to see a little of the world, fight up to 3 bosses, and they told me if I beat them, I could load into this special boss that nobody that day had beaten before. I was able to beat 2 of the main bosses without even taking any damage, and I did move on to that final build, which eventually kicked my teeth in. But there's a lot of stuff here I like. First of all, looks and plays exactly like a Souls game. If you played one before, this is going to feel very familiar. It is meant to be difficult and not change in any way. So again, if these are not for you, Wu Chang is not the game for you. The game ran great, performance was really good, and I like the overall art style and world, the combat, the enemy designs. While the combat was not my favorite in my opinion, specifically when it came to the dodges, it just didn't feel as smooth as some other games in this genre. Again, when you're kind of deciding to do a Souls-like, there's a lot of hefty competition at this point. But I still thought it was pretty solid and it got the job done. And that final boss, my heart was pounding before landing my final blow. I had 0 heals left, and that's kind of what I'm looking for when I play these games. I'm really hoping the full game delivers because I really did enjoy my time. I think the actual game retails at $50 as well too, so we'll see. Really looking forward to it. This was also one of the big ones for me. For background, I absolutely adore Dying Light 1, and I kind of like Dying Light 2, I think. But I did not have the same kind of love that I had for the original. So I was a little hesitant going into this, but I'm happy to report it was one of my favorite things I played. It felt so good to be back in this world, Kyle Crane parkouring. It just all looked and felt amazing. Beautiful design work. I got to play around with the new guns, cars, weapons, even fought one of the bosses in the end, which was a treat. I was speaking to one of the members of the team during my playthrough, and he was trying to emphasize how much parkour and exploration can be done in like many different ways now. Again, I feel like as if Dying Light always kind of had this quality, but it did really feel improved here. There was basically a marker that I had to go to for my objective. He had kind of shown me there was multiple different ways I could go, and the way I ended up going, he told me nobody had taken it that day, which again, thought was really cool. The combat is also just absolutely brutal. I'm talking limbs flying around left and right. It was glorious. I have not played Dying Light 2 since it had that major update with like the gore and the combat. So again, I'm not sure if this feels really similar or not, but man, it was beautiful. I really did feel like a lot of love and care was poured into this one. And I just really hope they stick the landing when it comes to the story. I really wasn't able to get any kind of glimpse of that in this demo, just some lines from Kyle Crane himself and Roger Craig Smith. But if there's one man I can trust, it's Kyle Crane. So yeah, those were my favorite games I got to play early at Summer Game Fest this year, which was an absolute pleasure. I also did get to check out Capcom's upcoming Onimusha and Resident Evil 9. But at this point, everyone's kind of seen stuff on that, and they didn't provide any kind of footage. It just kind of felt like a waste of time. Sorry for the late upload. Things take me so long. It's just your boy. I'm just one man. I'm also working on my favorite indie games of 2025 so far. I'm hoping to get that out really soon. So yeah, I'll see you in the next one.